Gajananam Bhuta Ganatisevitam Kapitha Jambu Phalasara Vakshitam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vasudeva Sudam Devam Kamsachanuravardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Last week we saw that Lord Krishna spoke for the first time, starting from verse 11, and he started his preaching to Arjuna. Now Arjuna is still in the same state. His mind is not made up, and he's put down his bow, but he has become a Sishya. He's accepted Krishna as his Guru, and he has become a Sishya. But before we go into the details of today's lesson, I want to ask you, why do you want to listen to Gita? What is your expectation?
You're asking everybody, or one by one, or what?
Anybody can say.
The same problem like Arjuna had. See, when you are like doing something and you are thinking, why am I doing this?
Right.
That is one.
Right.
And the second is, I think that just Gita is like not to worry about the outcome of your actions and you have to keep doing it.
Right.
But that is very little confusing also.
Yes.
So, as konjam puriyadhukku.
Right. Okay, I think you have summarized what everybody is really feeling. Well, there is a general objective of anybody. Any people seek happiness. They want enjoyment. Dharmartha kama moksham, that is a step. Most people will focus on artha and kama, purpose, material benefits, and enjoyment. There's nothing wrong in it, because that's how things go. But in reality, what happens? Things don't happen the way you expect them to happen. Most often they don't. So you need some inspiration to face those frustrations or disappointments and to carry on with your life despite the setbacks that one has. You find too many things coming in your mind, and like cleaning up a home, you need to clear the clutter also in your mind. There was an old man who used to read Gita, and his son, was asking, I am also reading, but I don't think there's any use at all. Why do you want to read this? The old man, is in a farmer, and he was just putting the coal on to the fire. So the old man looked at his son and said, do one thing, take that coal basket down below to the river and get some water. So he went there and put the basket in the water and came. By the time he came, all the water had leaked out, because it was only a basket, it wasn't a bucket. So he said, all the water has leaked out. Just go again and do it. So he did a couple of times, and he said, there is no use, it's impossible to carry water in this. You are asking me to do a task which is not a good one, it is going to be a waste of time. And the old man looked at him and said, look at the basket, how it is now. It used to be so dark with all this coal dust, both inside and outside. And now it looks much cleaner. It's got cleaned up because you went on washing it. So whether you do it with purpose or without purpose, it is cleaned. Likewise, when you listen to Gita or read Gita, you may not feel the impact immediately, but you will feel over a period of time that the clutter gets cleaned up and many questions get answered. So as usual, we will start with the overview of this lesson, and then I'm going to give you a preamble.
You know why I listen to the Gita?
Tell me.
I listen to it because it's like it isn't an ordinary person who's confused. It's
Right.
an extraordinary person who's confused.
Right.
So in my mind, it's like, you know, even extraordinary people can be torn by emotions, and applying cold logic is where wisdom sets in, whereas emotions can destroy logic.
Absolutely. Very nicely put. I think this is one of the important fundamental things in Gita, that a person, I did mention last time about Parantapaha. Arjuna was such a great warrior. He did fight with Kauravas earlier and defeated them. But now he is feeling the charity, he doesn't want to. So, like what you said, even the people, wise people, sometimes face challenges that they are not able to address. So this is actually providing the way and guiding you on how decisions need to be taken. And this particular lesson, Krishna continues with explaining the nature of Atma to Arjuna, and he briefly summarizes the whole thing in each verse, that the Atma is Nitya, Satya, Sarvamidam, Avinashi, Aprameyaha, Akarta, Abhokta, the 7 such qualities which Krishna explains in detail to Arjuna. But before really going into the verse, I want to give you a preamble this time, because otherwise it's going to get a little complicated for you and you'll find the dosage is too heavy. In philosophy, there is a term called causality. C-A-S-T-A-U-S-L-E-T-Y, causality. What does it mean?
Cause and effect.
It is a term which is used to define the relationship between cause and effect. For every effect, there must be a cause. If you have a headache, there is a cause. It could be because you are overstressed. It could be because your eyes need glasses. It could be because you are really hungry and it results in headache. It could be because you have a very, very important task to do the next day and you are not sure how you are going to do it. 100 reasons. But doctors, when they check you, they ask you questions to find out what is the likely cause. Only human beings are endowed with the intelligence to ask questions. Animals don't question. You feed grass to the cow, it will still eat it. It will not tell you, why are you giving me grass today? Why not some nice things like jalebi or idli? But a man will question, yesterday also you served idli, today also idli, why not something else? So the history shows that mankind has progressed from the days of living in the cave to what we are today only by the art of questioning. Now, if you look at the growth, Sir Isaac Newton, he saw an apple fall from a tree. So he asked a question, why is the apple falling down? Why not it fall upwards? It may look like a very silly question today, but you know how long did it take to discover the cause for it? 20 years. 20 years Newton took to find an answer. It is because of gravity that the apple is falling. See, every scientific progress came because of only questioning. The Wright brothers asked the question, why can't we fly like a bird? And they went on and built the first plane. In my school, I used to read stories of people who achieved. There was one story of Sir Ronald Ross. He started researching malaria because he was a He was born in India, but he was an Englishman. And he was posted in Chennai, which is known for mosquitoes. So he started doing research, and there was a lot of incidents of malaria. So he went on researching what is the cause for this malaria. And they transferred him to some other place. And he resigned. He said, I want to continue with this work. Then he went to Calcutta and all that, and found eventually that the cause of malaria is due to a species of mosquitoes. So if you see, there people progress by questioning every little action. That is a special quality only with human beings. Other living beings don't have that. Likewise, the ancient rishis, if you look at them, our ancestors, they started questioning many things. What is life? What happens after life? And they found several explanations for this cause and effect. All of which has been put down in your scriptures, Vedas, Upanishads, including Bhagavad Gita. So some of these I want to just give you in a nutshell what these findings are. You can call them truth, you can call them laws or whatever. The first law, it says there is no effect without a cause. What I mentioned earlier. No effect without a cause. There is no pot without clay. You must have clay. There is no ring without gold. You always say there is no smoke without fire. The light panuma konjam palaka. So if there is a creation, there must be a cause for it. There must be a creator. If this building is built, there must be a builder who has built it. So there is no effect without a cause. Law number one. Extend this further. Law number two says, effects are nothing but the cause in different forms. Like a headache could have different causes. Headache is an effect, but could have different causes in different forms. Like by ring, gold can be made into other ornaments, other forms. Even though gold is a cause, effects are different. The clay can be shaped in different pots. Mugs and cups and saucers and so on. So the second law says the effects are nothing but the cause in different forms. Extend it a little further, law number 3. If the cause is removed from the effect, there will be no effect. Like for example, let's say you remove the clay from the pot, no pot. Electricity, which is used to power all these lamps, including the projector and the camera here, if it is removed, none of these devices will work. So, if you look at this world, there are different forms of life. You have human beings, you've got animals, you've got plants, trees and so on. All these have one thing in common. What is that?
Cause and effect.
They have life. Atma.
It's a life. It is life. All living beings have a common thing, which is life. If you remove the life, what happens? Everything falls. So if the cause, which is the life, is removed from the effect, which has been creations, there is no life. So, in Sanskrit, this cause and effect is explained by a term called Karya Karana Sambandha. Karya Karana Sambandha. So this thing which runs common in all living beings, life, He is the cause which has resulted in the effect of so many living beings and so many things happening. So this particular cause, the central cause, which is really making everybody live, which pervades all living beings, is called by the name called Atma or consciousness, as he puts it. This has got certain definite qualities in it. Even though you can't see it, it has got some qualities. So Krishna, in this particular lesson now, he is describing what are these qualities of this consciousness or Atma. By what it is known or what you can describe it as features. So we will go on to the slogan. I just want to review this first verse to just give you the link, this we covered last lesson, but we will repeat it again so that you have the link, connecting link. Nasato vidyate bhavo,
Nasato vidyate bhavo,
na bhavo vidyate sataha,
na bhavo vidyate sataha,
upayorapi drishtanta,
upayorapi drishtanta,
tasvan ayos tattvadarshibihi.
tasvan ayos tattvadarshibihi.
So in this we saw that there is a real intrinsic nature or swabhavam, as we call it, and the other one which is called unreal, which is borrowed. I gave you the analogy of fire and the heat in the coffee. One is real, the other one is borrowed. So the unreal has no experience, the real, the never real, the real never ceases to exist. It is always there. So we will go to the next slogan, which gives you the link now. Abhinashi tu tadviddi,
Avinashi tu tadviddi,
yena sarvamidam tatam,
yena sarvamidam tatam,
vinasham avyayasya,
vinasham avyayasya,
yasya na kaschit kaktum arhati.
yasya na kaschit kartum arhati.
Now in this one, what Krishna says is Atma is indestructible. It is all pervading. Avinashi means indestructible. Vinasham means destroyed. You put A, it becomes indestructible. A pot can be destroyed, but earth, the clay, is indestructible. It is there. There is, in villages we have very nice way of putting things, in simple way. People either sing a song or explain things in a way a villager can understand, not sophisticated people. I remember one song which describes what it is all about. Nandavanatil orandi, avan nalaru madamai kuyavanai vendi, kondu vandan oru tondi, adai kutadi kutadi potu daitandi, nandavanatil orandi. This is in Tamil, but I'll explain the meaning to you. This is a song which was composed by a Siddha. Our pair Kaduvadi Chittarnu pair. India has got a lot of Mahans and Siddha Purushas. So many of them, they describe things in their own language. Like you must be having a lot of Gujarati Mahans. They would speak in Gujarati in very simple ways. So here this Siddhar, what he says is Nandavanatil or Andi. Andi is referring to a person or a body. a pichakaran or a beggar. Auntie means really beggar. அவன் 4-6 மாதமாய் ஒரு குயவனை வேண்டி. Kuyavan is really the Almighty. One who creates the pots. He is a creator. Kuyavane. So he prayed that Kuyavan or creator, give me a pot, which is really the body. 4-6 மாதமாய். 4 plus 6, how much does it make?
10 months.
10 months. It is the period when the baby is born. So, 4-6 மாதமாய் குயவனை வேண்டி கொண்டு வந்தான் ஒரு தோண்டி. He was blessed with a body. He got this body, which is equivalent to a pot, given by the Creator, made out of clay. And he took it. We should have really nurtured it and used it for something, Instead of that, he frittered away his life. Kuttadi, which is equivalent to, you are dancing and dancing, you are wasting your life on frivolous pleasures and pursuit of material wealth and pursuit of unnecessary things. And wasted entire life, eventually broke the pot, which means the body was gone. So this is just 4 lines, which is so beautifully explained by a Siddhar. In just 4 lines. So in villages you have some of these finest ways of not only singing but also demonstrating. Today Ravi has not come, and in Andhra Pradesh, in Telugu, they have what is called Kotnotsvam, what we do in Sampradaya Bhajan. The Varala, they have the paddy that they strike it with what they got pestle and mortar, and they strike it. So the pollutant, which is the paddy husk, is removed, and inside you get the pure rice, which is equivalent to the Atma. So as you go, you remove the clutter and your mind becomes clean. That's a kind of example you will get. So here it says, Avinashi tu tadviti yena sarvamidam tatam. Avinashi is indestructible. Tadviti is indeed, that vidhi is to know, like vidya, it's a verb there, vidhi, yena sarvamidam tatam. It is prevalent. Sarvamidam tatam means everywhere. What is tatam is that one. Sarvamidam tatam. Idam tatam. What is here? It's also there. Idam tataha means identity. You see the similarity between the 2 words, idam tataha, identity. Yeah. So, sarvam idam tatam is something which is prevalent, everybody, all are pervaded. Vinasham abhyayasya na kaschitu kartum arhati. Vinasham is of course destruction. Abhyayasya asya, of the imperishable. Na kaschitu kartum arhati. Na kaschitu, none can do it. In other words, everything is pervaded by the indestructible Atma. It cannot be destroyed. It is indestructible because it has no boundaries. If everybody has got an Atma, why can't we see it? If you have a nose, you can see it. If you have a hand, you can see it. But if you have got an Atma, why can't you see it? This building, you have a hall here. You can see it because it has got walls, it has got a roof, it has got a floor and everything. Supposing this building is removed, what can you see then? This hall becomes space. So the space, only when it is given a form, if it is manifested into a form, you can see the form. But you can't see space by itself. It is open. It becomes Akasha. So, it is something which, like a space, which you cannot define unless it has a form. It has to be given a form. So we can see a person in a form, but you cannot see what is inside. Ramakrishna Paramsa once said, somebody asked him, what is Brahman and what is this thing that we are seeing? Somebody said, the delusion. Pointed 2 fingers and folded one. What it means is Brahman is one. This is delusion. Which if you remove the delusion, then only what it remains is Brahman. So this is body. If you remove the body, only Atman remains. Very simple way of telling only. Okay. Now, you will find some of them getting repeated more for the purpose of emphasis and understanding than for anything else. Antavanta ime deha
Antavanta ime deha
Nityasokta sharirinaha
Nityasyokta sharirinaha
Anashino aprameyasya
Anashino aprameyasya
Tasmad yudvasva bharata
Tasmad yudhyasva bharata
Antam, Vedantam you say, right? What is Antam?
Ending.
Ending. So Antavanta means having an end. Ime Deha means these bodies which have an end. Nityastoka Sharirinaha. Nityasya is everlasting. Nityam is everlasting. Ukta. Ukta means said. Suktam, I mentioned earlier.
Well said.
That's it.
Ukta. Sharirinaha is within this body. Now, these words are a little bit disjointed when I am translating it for you. But eventually when you look at the total meaning, then it will make sense. Sharirinaha means within the body or embodied. Asariri சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா?
Yeah.
Have you heard the
Without
word
a body.
Asariri? Asariri should be
Echo.
there.
Echo.
Asariri means one without Sariram,
Right. Formless. Right.
formless. Who is formless? Divine. Some divine force is telling, it's called the Asariri, without Sariram. But here, Sarirana means within the body. Anashino. Anashino is of the indestructible. Aprameyasya. Now this is very important. Aprameyasya means it's an unseen subject. Unseen subject which is immeasurable. Obviously referring to Atma. Tasmat. Tasmat Yudhyasva Bharata. Tasmat means therefore. Yudhyasva. Fight. Bharata referring to Arjuna.
Arjuna.
Therefore, O Arjuna, fight. Now you will find this coming up in many places later on also. Therefore, Arjuna, fight. All the bodies are perishable. Antavanta ime deha means all bodies are perishable. But not the Atma. Atma doesn't perish. You know, there is a beautiful, when all these Pandavas were in exile, Dharmaputra was one day feeling very thirsty. So he told Sahadeva was a guest, go and fetch some water. So he went there and didn't come. So he told Nagula, you go and find out. Nagula also didn't come back. Likewise, all the 4 brothers, they went and they never returned. Finally, Dharmaputra himself wanted to go and see what happened. And they found that all the 4 brothers were dead alongside a lake. Then they understood, these fellows must have taken water and something has happened. Either it is poisonous water and they drank it, or something water. So he said, let me test it. So he also put his hand. And there was a voice, Ashariri, coming from the lake, which said, Dharmaputra, I am the Yaksha here, who owns this lake. Oh, your brothers came to fetch water and I asked them some questions and I told them, if you don't answer correctly, you will die. Then none of them could answer the questions. So for you also I'll ask the same things. If you don't answer correctly, you will also die. So Dharmaputra accepted the condition. So the Yaksham started asking questions. It's called Yaksha Prashnam. Very beautiful. If you read it, very, very sharp questions and very well answered also. So one of the questions is that, what is the wonder of wonders, most surprising thing that we can see of human existence in this world? And you know what Dharmaputra says? He says every day the human beings see people who are dying. And we know if we are going to be mortal and then you see other people dying. But everybody believes that he is going to live forever. That we are going to live eternally, and therefore we keep on accumulating wealth, keep on pursuing our desires, whatever it is, as if we are going to live eternally. And that is the most surprising thing, he says. And the Yaksha accepts that answer. So, even though we know it is everybody is mortal, but there is something called which is the end. So even avatarams, divine avatarams, Rama, Krishna, they had their end. It's not that they lived forever. The only exception is the Atma, which is everlasting. That's why you think we say, may the soul rest in peace. We say that, right? Also, our Annarin Atma Shanti Adaiga அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Prameya is referring to the object of knowledge. Aprameya means a subject. Subject, you can never see it. You take a picture, for example. Picture, you see everybody. But do you see the camera which has taken it? It is a camera which has taken it. But you don't see the camera. Like the eyes. You don't see your own eyes. Unless suppose you look in a mirror, but what you see in the mirror is an image. But supposing there are no mirrors anywhere, you have to ask somebody else to tell me how do my eyes look, how do my nose look. Ask somebody else, because you can't see yourself. So it is something which you cannot see by itself. The bodies containing the eternal, indestructible Atma, immeasurable Atma, or perishable, but not Atma itself. Like your eyes cannot see by yourself, like the camera is not seen in the picture, it is in the background, but you know the existence of it because it has taken a picture. So likewise, there is an Atma, you don't see it, but it exists. Therefore, what you are going to do, Arjuna, is really killing those bodies. The Atma lives. Therefore, you fight. This is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. Going further, let's go to verse number 19. Enam veti hantaram
Yenam veti hantaram
Yaschainam manyate hatam
Yashainam manyate hatam
Ubautau na vijanito
Ubautau na vijanito
Nayam hanti na hanyate.
Nayam hanti na hanyate.
Very good. See, I mentioned earlier that Atma is Akarta and Abhokta in one of my earlier things. Akarta means actionless. It doesn't have any action. And it does not take part in any action also. So this particular verse highlights that. Ya yenam veti. Ya yenam means this Atma. Veti means knows. Knows. Hantaram is killer. Yaschainam manyate hatam. Yaschainam means and others. Chainam manyate hatam. Those who are killed. Ubau, both. those, na vijanito, do not know that Atma, nayam hantina hanyate, is neither a killer nor killed. Now, the words are all disjointed, as you can see, but if you see the meaning of it, what it means is Atma does not kill nor get killed. The screen which you see here, where you are projecting, for example, it shows the slides. It is only a device. It doesn't take part in any action. It's only used to project your slide. What supposing you remove the screen? This slide cannot be seen. So likewise, the bodies or devices which show the real truth or real reality, but they do not take part in any action. They like this screen which does not take part in any action.
Atma doesn't take part.
So you find it is only facilitating transactions, but it does not take part. Like in chemistry, you have a word called catalyst, right? What is a catalyst?
Speeds up a reaction.
A catalyst is one which only facilitates a chemical reaction, speeds up, but it does not take part in the chemical reaction or activity. Likewise, the Atma is something which does not do anything, it does not take part in the action, but it is only a silent one which facilitates a transaction or an activity. So, ye enam veti hantaram yaschenam manyate hatam. Like I mentioned, if this room is destroyed, the space enclosed by it is no longer seen. It is just going to space. So, those who think that Atma is a killer or killed are ignorant. They do not know that Atma is neither a killer nor killed. That is the gist of this. It's an indirect way of saying that people who believe it's a killer or killer, they do not know, they are ignorant that it is neither a killer nor killed.
But the body is just a device.
It's a device, it's a
but
tool.
Then who is taking that action? Who is doing the action?
Now, it's a little complicated because human beings have three elements. One is the body, which is present for all living beings, whether it is an animal or even a plant. Okay? But you have another thing called mind, which you are endowed with a mind. Animals believe they have a mind because they can be trained. The third important component, which only human beings have, is intellect. So it is B plus M plus I. Body, mind and intellect. Now, your intellect, mind pulls you towards something. Let's say I want to kill someone. I don't want to do it, but let's say.
You're on camera.
But the intellect says it is not right to do so because you will go to jail if you do that. But in spite of warning from intellect, if I still do it, do I blame the Atma? It is something which your intellect is wrong. That is the reason why people have to get educated and discriminate between what is right and what is not right. That power of discrimination is given only to human beings as a gift from God. Now, if you don't use it, you can't blame anyone else for it, right?
So how does the Atma doesn't control any of the intellect or it doesn't participate?
It doesn't. It is only prevalent, it is all pervading. It is a super creator. Somebody must have created, so it is there. So as you go further, you know what is the nature of its coming.
But Atma is not intellect, right?
No.
Let's
Atma is
go
the
further.
body, it is controlled by the mind and the intellect.
It's not control, nothing controls.
Nothing controls it.
Yes.
Na jayate miyate va kadachina.
Na jayate miyate va kadachina.
Nayam bhutva bhavita va nabhuyaha.
Nayam bhutva bhavita va nabhuyaha.
Ajo nityaha shashvato ayam purano.
Ajo nityaha shashvato ayam purano.
Na hanyate hanyamane sharire.
Na hanyate hanyamane sharire.
See, it's getting a little longer verses. You will find some verses have got 4 lines now. Probably indicating things are getting a little more complex than what they were before. So, the philosophy is na jayate. Na jayate means not born. Aja means to be born. Jata karmanaha api chuton kya? Na jayate. Mriyate. Marna. Mriyate means to die. Va kadachina. Kadachina or anytime. Va means are. Kadachina anytime. Nayam bhutva. Na ayam. It's split into two words. Na ayam. Not this. Which is this?
Yeah.
This is the self. Atma. Bhutva. Having been. Vana bhuyaha. Will not be there anymore. Ajo nityaha. Aja again is ajo. Ja and a. If you put together, what happens? Jayate means born. Ajaya means not born,
Unborn,
birthless.
birthless.
Birthless. Nityaha is eternal. And Shashvataha. Shashvatama irka apni சொல்றது இல்லையா? Shashvatama என்ன அர்த்தம்? Shashvata means
Happy.
Permanent or exists.
free from any changes, free from decay. It is remaining the same form. There is no change. Ayam is Purano. Puranam, Puranangal means
Very old.
ancient. Ancient. Na hanyate, not killed. Hanyamane sarire, being killed in a body. Being killed in a body. Now, all these are disjointed words. But you got to see how it is connected. What it really means is, this Atman is neither born nor killed. Neither born nor killed. It has no birth and no death. Coming into being and ceasing to be do not really take place for it. In other words, there is no origin nor the end. It is unborn. It is eternal. It is constant. Does not change its form. And it is ancient, Purana. It is not na hanyate hanyamane sharire. When the body is killed, it is not killed. The Atma is not killed. It is still surviving. That is why you say Atma Sankhyadeya. So, the gist is the Atman is neither born nor dies. And it comes into being and there is no end to it. It is unborn. It is eternal. It is constant. It does not change shape or form. It is ancient. And it is not killed when the body is killed. That is the gist of this particular story.
So this Atma, this entity, it's one entity across all living beings.
Yes, it's all pervasive. That is why you call it Jivatma.
Okay.
And there is the creator who is called Paramatma. So there are basically Advaitam believes that they are not different. That everybody has a little bit of that Atma, which is also confirmed here. The analogy would be when you see dew on the grass, you know, sometimes you see it in the springtime, in the lawn, we see there is a small dew on the grass. And when the sun comes, you will see little sparkles of the sun on those dew like mirror. So it's all shines. The same sun which gets reflected over those globules of water. So likewise, the Paramatma is shining as small globules of Jivatma in every living being. So that is the belief that we have. Okay.
So
Going
if Atma
further,
doesn't do anything, then why do we give Atma so much importance?
there will be a lot of questions coming up. Let me finish these and then we'll come back to the questions. Okay. We go to verse 21. Veda vinashinam nityam
Veda vinashinam nityam
yena bhajamabjayam
yena bhajamavyayam
katam sa purushaha partha
katam sa purushaha partha
kam gatayati hantikam.
kam gatayati hantikam.
Now if it is something which is not born, not killed, which does not take part in action, means there is no karma. There is no karma. There is no karma attached to Atma. Karma is actions. If there is no karma and the Atma is actionless, it does not have rebirth. Rebirth comes only when you have a karma. We believe in rebirth, and rebirth takes place according to one's karma. That is the Hindu way of believing. So if there is no action and there is no activity, either direct or indirect, you find that there is no rebirth. That's why it says there is no rebirth. No shraddham or tarpanam is done for Atma. That's why saints, sannyasis, they have no shraddham, no funeral rites. They are considered to be Mahans who have gone past all these karmas. Therefore, we don't perform shraddham. We have a commemorative day or a remembrance day, but there is no karma. Whereas for humans, we do karma. In fact, it is believed that they don't have rebirth. Many of these famous saints, they have no rebirth.
Moksha.
Moksha. So, the knower of the Atma is an enlightened person, and killing for the sake of protecting Dharma does not affect him. Like for example, if a corpse is chasing somebody, okay, which happens often here in Chicago, and the other person whom is chasing is a criminal and is trying to shoot the cop or give him some violence, the cop is free to use his gun and he is not coming under charge of punishment because it was done in the course of his duty. He is not punishable according to law. If he is going to pursue a criminal and the criminal tries to attack him for any reason and he knows that he is going to defend himself, and in the process he kills a particular person, he is not punishable under law. He can't be charged. Likewise, if there is somebody who is really dangerous, he is not following Dharma, he is going to be a serious threat to society or community, and if there is a person who is affected and he kills him, there is no sin coming out of it. That's what Krishna is indicating here. That whoever knows that Atma is indestructible, Veda vinashinam nityam, eternal, unborn and actionless, that person can slay. This is Partha, O Arjuna, he says, a person can engage himself in that act of killing. And here Atma is neither the killer nor does it engage somebody to kill it, not direct or even indirect. The policeman who does it, he does it as a duty to protect law. Likewise here, one who does it is neither killing directly or he has not engaged somebody to kill someone indirectly. So in law, a person kills directly or indirectly also, both are punishable. But if it is coming in the course of his performing his duty, he is not punishable. So that's the gist of this, that it is indestructible, it is eternal, it is unborn. And it is no harm in killing somebody whom you know as one who is really harming dharma. So we move on to verse 22. Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya
Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya
navani grihnati naro aparani
navani grihnati naro aparani
tata sharirani vihaya jirna
tata sharirani vihaya jirna
na anyani samyati navani dehi
na anyani samyati navani dehi.
Vasamsi is referring to clothes you wear. Jirnani means, jirnam is
Digest.
digest. Actually what it means is, it is decaying the food.
Right.
Here jirnani refers to the old clothes. If clothes become old due to usage, they become old clothes. So it's called jirnani. Yata vihaya. Vihaya means to cast off. Actually, vihang, there is a name in Gujarati also, vihang. Vihang is a bird, one which flies. Vihaya is actually, you can say, throw it to the winds. Throw it to the winds. Vihaya. Throw the clothes to the winds. Navani grihnati naro prani. Navani grihnati means
New.
take on the new clothes.
New clothes.
Nara means human beings. You do that. Tata sharirani vihaya jirna na anyani samyati navani deha. Likewise, bodies, when they are no longer required, you cast them off like old clothes and acquire new bodies, new shariram.
When you say shariram, it's not just the physical body, it includes the body and the mind and the intellect.
Yes.
All three.
Yes, all the three, but not the Atma.
Not the Atma, but the other three components.
Whatever is included in the body, that is all given off. You know, snakes you have seen, I have seen it in when I was a kid, you know. You can see Shatta or Girtan Sulwa. Snakes, you know, they cast away their skins and they grow new ones. Likewise, you cast away the old clothes and get new clothes. Similarly, the analogy is given for casting off the old body and acquiring a new body. So just as a man casts off worn clothes and puts on new ones, so also the embodied self, it's a body, casts off the worn out bodies and enters others that are new.
So what is it that is reborn then? Because you've cast away the body, the mind, the intellect. The Atma is all pervasive. It is neither born nor destroyed. So what gets reborn?
New pot. Now, when you have a pot, it gets broken. What does it happen? It goes on to the soil, right?
Correct.
Somebody else makes a pot, new pot. From that comes a new pot. Likewise, here the Creator creates a new body out of the old body. The old body is cast away, and you have a new body coming in.
But I thought like each one has their own. The Atma is like individual to everybody, right? Because
It is common to everybody. Common. It is there in everyone. All living beings. All living beings. But you don't see it. It is not born. It is eternal. It has not taken place in any action. It is not something which you can see. it takes on a shape or a form. So, when you say the body is gone, what is the device is gone, but it gets into another device. Yeah. Further, Nainam chindanti shastrani.
Nainam chindanti shastrani.
Nainam dahati pavakaha.
Nainam dahati pavakaha.
Nachainam kledayam chapo.
Nachainam kledayantyapo.
Na soshayati marutaha.
Na shoshayati marutaha.
Nainam chindanti means shedam padrathan solva. Shedam. You know shedam?
Damage.
Damage. It's kind of shedam is a Tamil word, but it is derived from chindam.
Ched is also in Hindi, you heard.
Yeah, you cut it. Nainam chindanti means it cannot be cut. It's obviously referring to Atma, not the body. Shastrani, by weapons. Nainam dahati pavakaha, cannot be burnt by fire. Nachainam klente apo. Apo means water. It cannot be wetted by water. Na soshiyati marutaha. Marutaha means air. It cannot be dried by air. This is the nature of Atma, that it cannot be cut, damaged. It cannot be hurt by weapons. It cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be wetted by water. It cannot be dried by air. So, this is another quality of that consciousness of Atma. Moving on, the last slogam for the day today. Achedyo ayam adahyo ayam.
Achedyo ayam adahyo ayam.
Akledo sosha evacha.
Akledyo
evacha.
Akledyo sosha evacha.
Akledyo evacha.
Nityaha sarvagataha stanur.
Nityaha sarvagataha stanur.
Achalo ayam sanatanaha.
Achalo ayam sanatanaha.
This is actually an emphasis of verse 23. It is repeating the same thing, but when you repeat something once, twice, thrice, it adds to the emphasis. Like we swear in the quotes, we say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You say it 3 times, right? So it is very emphatic. So here also it is kind of emphatic on this previous point, that it is again saying the same thing. It cannot be cut, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be wetted, and it cannot be dried. Nityaha sarvagataha. Nityaha is eternal. Sarvagataha is all pervading. Sthanur achalo ayam. These are 2 words which are added. Sthanur. You know, in Suchindram you got a Shiva temple. It's called Sthanumurti. Have you heard about it? Sthanumurti. Sthanu means stable, stationary, even without a sign of life. It is still. Tanu Perichapa. There is a big cartoonist called Tanu, was owning the brilliant tutorials in India. His name was Tanu. His name was Suchindram. Normally people around that area, they have the name as Thanumurti. Thanumurti. So, it is like a dead tree. It has no movement whatsoever. You can see it is there. But it has life in it. There are no leaves. So, Sthanur is something which is stable, which is still. It still has life in it. Achalo. Achalo means no movement. Achalam. Arunachalam. Venkatachalam. Achalam means no movement. No movement at all. Immovable. Ayam sanatanaha. Sanatana dharma. We say, Sanatana means it is ancient. We don't know when it started. Such an old dharma. Sanatana. So this self-Atman is uncuttable. It is incombustible. It cannot be wetted. It cannot be dry. It is eternal. It is all pervading. It is very still. It has no movement at all. Absolutely. So this is the kind of nature of. So it has 7 qualities which I mentioned in the very first overview. You saw that. So it's only reflecting those 7 qualities. So we will stop at this point. This is 24 verse. More on this next class, but probably we are going to miss Kumaresh from Sujata next class. But we will anyway put it in the video so you can see it. So with that we come to the last slide. Krishnaya Tubhyam Namaha.
Krishnaya Tubhyam Namaha.
In other words, we offer everything to Krishna. Krishnarpanam. Sarvatra Govindanama Sankirtanam.
Govinda Govinda.